Today, I'm providing my full review of Cousins from a Distant Sun by Tamar Myers. Thank you to Severn House via NetGalley for providing me an advanced reader's copy in exchange for an honest review. And just so you know, all opinions are my own. Let's get started. I would like to start this review with a story of my own. Recently, my wife and I came across a house listing for a mid-century modern home that was in a desirable neighborhood. It was right across the street from the community pool and the workout center. From the photos, it looked like my dream home. The entire front of the house was glass facing south, designed for passive solar heating. The architecture was unique with strong Mexican influences, and even the tile floors had been imported from Mexico. The living room featured a vaulted ceiling, floor-to-ceiling windows, and a massive fireplace that served as the centerpiece of what looked like an incredibly cozy space. There was a sunroom, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and every room had its own sliding glass door that opened onto a shared patio area. From the pictures, and even from driving by, it looked like the perfect home for our family. So we rushed to get pre-qualified for a home loan. I asked my buddy, who's a realtor, to come alongside of us and get us into the home early before all the open houses started that weekend so that we could maybe make an informed decision and give an offer right off the bat. And that's where the excitement stopped. The listing and the photos set up the home beautifully, but when we stepped inside, the reality was much different. The house was clearly aging and full of renovation projects. All of that original flooring from Mexico was ripped up, and it was just a bunch of concrete floors with rugs all over the place. There were cracks in some of the walls and the ceilings. The kitchen hadn't been touched since 1978, which could have added to that mid-century charm, but instead, it just made the space look dark and dingy. In the end, the house had potential, but it just didn't justify the price tag. We had to walk away. Unfortunately, that experience mirrors how I felt about Cousins from a Distant Sun by Tamar Myers. The cover and description were enticing enough to get me through the door, but once inside, it was riddled with narrative renovation projects. The concept itself was intriguing. A hidden race of supernatural giants tied to Inca history and alien abduction? Yeah, there's a cool vibe at the heart of the premise, but the execution just didn't quite live up to the promise. The humor felt dated and occasionally cringy, and at times the story felt like it was writing down to maybe a younger audience rather than the audience it was said to target. Many of the characters felt one-dimensional, and our main protagonist, Ruth Baker, her sudden mood swings were probably the most out-of-this-world element in the entire book. What I believe was meant to feel like a whimsical science fiction adventure, it never really captured that sense of excitement for me. Readers who regularly dive into science fiction that's quirky or offbeat are going to be a little bit disappointed with this one. They're more than likely going to be looking for more depth or originality. I could see this working as an introductory science fiction story for those with a lower reading level, maybe just wanting something a little bit more cozy to kind of sit with and not really have to think about a whole lot. But for me personally, it's not something that I can just recommend broadly. Ironically, I think the story might have found a better home if it was repackaged for a younger audience. With some adjustments, it could work well as a middle grade or YA speculative fiction story, but as it stands, I don't see it competing well in the space that it's in. I'm giving Cousins from a Distant Sun a 2 out of 5 stars. It's a cozy story in some ways, but not one I can easily recommend or feel particularly excited to share with others. This book is set to release at the end of April, so maybe you can give it a read yourself and tell me where I'm right, where I'm wrong. I'd love to hear your thoughts. The next advanced reader's copy that I received is a story that's coming out in May by Glenn Dixon. It's a story called The Infinite Sadness of Small Appliances. I hope to read that one this week and have a review for you by the end of the month, but until then, read, discuss, create.